Hey everybody, Mr. Ellis here. I know it's been a minute since I did my last video, so lots of things have happened. There's lots of things are happening, and you're probably curious as to what. So let's talk about some of those things. We're going to talk about vaccines, yes, but we're also going to talk about variants, and we're going to talk about evolution, and we're going to talk about the good things that are happening, and then the things that are of concern. So be ready. I feel like this is stuff that you need to know, if not for yourself, for your family, and just to make your best decisions together as a family. So let's start with this, okay? The Coca-19 vaccine, right? The mRNA vaccines that we have. If you're curious at all about how they work, this video is not about how they work. This video here is about what we're doing with them. If you want to know about how they work, this QR code will take you there. You can pause the video, your teacher can, pull out your cell phone, pull up the camera, and that will take you to my video explaining how the vaccine works, okay? Or at least explaining it the best that I can. Now, everything you're about to see up here is going to be information that I copied and pasted from the CDC website. Okay, so we'll start with this. These are the major points the CDC wants you to know about the COVID-19 vaccine. All right, it will help keep you from getting COVID. Yay, that's good. All right, wonderful. Next, all COVID-19s currently available have been shown to be highly effective. When we say highly effective, we're talking 90 to 95%. The mRNA vaccines that we've got are like wonderful, and they're killing the game right now, which is good. Okay. Again, just to go through the finer details here, these things wouldn't have been approved if they weren't highly effective. All right, and so all the data we have from testing hundreds of thousands of people and now actually millions of people who've been vaccinated are showing them to be effective and safe. Continuing here, based on what we know about vaccines for other diseases, right, even if you come down with COVID-19, having had the vaccine, you will be ill for less time and you will not get as seriously sick as those without the vaccine could get. So the vaccine, even if it you still manage to get sick somehow, all right, it will actually help keep your symptoms lower, right, reducing your risk of serious illness. Okay, so that's what all vaccinations are for. Even the flu vaccine works the same way. You may still catch the flu, all right, and we'll talk about why in a little bit, but you may still catch the flu, but the symptoms won't be as severe. Thankfully, because you had this vaccine. Now, getting vaccinated, not only can it protect you from getting COVID-19, it can protect the other people around you, right? And protect you from spreading it to them. Okay, that's the more important point here, especially for those of us concerned about our family members. All right, and we're still doing more studies, okay, about it because there are some things that are changing, as we'll see. So let's talk about this. And if you choose to make the decision like not to get the vaccine, which I know some people will be making that decision, but let's focus on this. The COVID-19 vaccination is a safer way to help you build protection. Just getting the disease and hoping for the best, right? Unfortunately, there's no way to know how it will affect you. Like, it affects different people in different ways. And if you become infected, I mean, as some people here at the school have been infected, and they know how draining the virus can be. And how serious you need to take it because the side effects are severe and they can hang around, okay? Getting it, you can cause something called long haul syndrome where you're dealing with like trying to get over this virus for months. Some people are still trying to get over having it and they got it at the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic. So like this is a thing you do not want to get because there can be long lasting consequences for you in terms of your personal health, okay? So again, clinical trials. They tried this on thousands of people before giving it to anybody, and now we've vaccinated millions of people. Okay, healthcare professionals, people who are older, and we're seeing lots not just of effectiveness, but lots of safe, effective vaccines here. Okay, the fact that they're safe, people are using them in large numbers, and have for months now. Okay, and we'll talk more about that in a little bit. But let's look at this. All right, so what are some of the various COVID-19 vaccines? Okay, well, you have the one from Britain. You have two here from the U.S. There's some Germany in there. The one from Russia, I wouldn't necessarily trust everything out of there, so we're going to ignore that one for right now. But let's look at the other ones here. Oxford, the AstraZeneca one, all right, very famous. And if you're looking at this, you also have Moderna and Pfizer. These are the two that you might receive, either one of these two. And if I can, we'll start with this. They're both what we call RNA vaccines, okay? That means the only thing they put into your body is RNA. RNA, which cannot do anything but enter your cell. It cannot enter your nucleus. It cannot affect your DNA. It just goes into your cell, and it produces a protein, a spike protein from the COVID virus, and then that's what your body uses to identify the COVID virus. So it's introducing a part of, it says virus genetic code, but it's really just RNA. They're instructions for building protein, okay? And the cool thing about the mRNA vaccine is that that RNA will disappear quickly. Within a day or two, it's not even in your body or system anymore. No longer producing the protein, it can't affect you in any way. Okay, so it just produces a protein that your body identifies as foreign and builds an immune response. And as you can see, look at these numbers, guys. They're amazing, okay? And so there are some, some hiccups here with storage because they have to be stored at very low temperatures, which can raise the price, okay? But for the most part, we don't have to worry about the price right now. We just need to worry about this effectiveness, and that's huge. You'll notice the Oxford University AstraZeneca one, that's the old version that we used to make in terms of viral vector. In other words, they go in and they take the COVID virus and they'd basically inoculate it, make it so it wouldn't work, and then put it in people's bodies so that their immune system could attack it and target it. But you'll notice it's not quite as effective as the mRNA ones that we're using. mRNA ones can be generated faster, quicker, and you can see they're even more effective. This is what you do want to pay attention to, though, the number of doses. Okay, so these are my parents. That's my mom and that's my dad. My dad works ER over in Phoenix City, and my mom has lung issues, especially with asthma, really intense, severe asthma. They're both in their 60s and both at risk, all right? Especially my mom, who's at risk, and then my dad, who goes to work every day with COVID patients, all right? Both of them have been vaccinated, okay? And that's to keep them safe. And they both made that choice. They've been vaccinated for weeks now. No side effects, all right? My sister, who's a teacher in Hawaii, she's been vaccinated. She's even got her second dose already. And she reports that she feels fine, all right? So not just a number of anecdotal evidence here, but we have a lot of, again, millions and millions of people who have been vaccinated by now. I think it's in the 20 million range at this point, okay? So I have a personal stake in this as well, okay? And I just wanted to stress that they are doing well, and I feel better now because they are more protected. Okay. Coming back over here. There are some new vaccines coming in. There's a Johnson & Johnson vaccine that's coming in. It's only a one-shot dose. You take one, and that's it. But it's only, I think, somewhere around 72% effective right now, at least in the U.S. I think 66% overall, but right now 72% effective. So it's not as effective as these ones. That's why you take the second shot. It helps boost. It's what you call your booster shot. Some of y'all have gotten those at pediatricians' offices before. The booster shot, the first one introduces your body to it. The second one makes it certain that it knows what to attack. So that's what the 2-dose regimen is for. And that's why it's recommended that you get both of those shots. Now, if I can, what can you expect after taking the vaccine? I believe Mr. Brooks here, you guys all know and love Mr. Brooks. He had his vaccine shot as well. And I spoke with him about what he experienced after taking it. And so what he told me was when he took it, his arm felt sore, okay? And that should make sense because if the vaccine works, right, when you put it into your body, the RNA goes into your cells, your cells start building spike proteins from the virus. Nothing else in the virus, just these little spike proteins. And they act as signals to your immune system. So your immune system rushes, all your white blood cells rush there, which causes swelling and pain and inflammation. And so you start to feel sore here. In fact, you might feel a slight headache because your body recognizes, oh, there's something foreign in here, and it starts to attack it, and there's an immune response that you feel. As long as you feel that, that's good. And in fact, Mr. Brooks said that he felt that for maybe a day, maybe 2 days at the most, all right? And then it was gone. So what that tells me and what that tells him and what that should tell you is if you feel these kinds of things, and you can see it up here, after getting the COVID vaccine, you may feel mild side effects, but these aren't like bad side effects. These are your immune system working. Like pain or swelling at the injection site, headache, chills, or fever. That's good because it means your body's responding with its immune system, okay? And it's taking note of the virus. It's taking note of the spike proteins on there, okay? They are normal. And again, this is from the CDC. They show the vaccine is working, all right? Now, if I can here, that's what you should expect to happen. There are, however, some other side effects, right, that are not expected nor necessarily welcome. So let's talk about those because you should be concerned about, okay, well, what else might happen to me? And so the other reaction that we've seen, other than the traditional one, by the way, which is you feeling kind of sore and stuff like that from the injection, is what's called a severe allergic reaction or anaphylaxis. So what that means is your body starts to freak out because it notices there's something foreign in there and in you. Okay, but here's what happens. You start to get a bit of an allergic reaction, a serious one. I shouldn't say a bit, a serious reaction. But here's what's cool. Because we know this happens, vaccination providers have medicines available, epinephrine, that they can use to effectively and immediately treat the reaction. You take your EpiPen, you take your shot, boom, you feel better, and now you're protected and you're no longer going to feel that allergic reaction. Okay, because like I said, the RNA vaccine will disappear in your body quickly, okay, and you will not have this continued or prolonged reaction, all right? And here's what's even cooler about this, if you understand your numbers and stuff. If we take a look, we found that from December 14th to 23rd, right, something like 2 million doses of the Pfizer vaccine, which is the RNA one, were given, okay? And they only had 21 cases of anaphylaxis. So just to give you an idea of how rare this reaction is, everybody else gets it normal, right? How rare this reaction is, do the math, okay? 21 people out of 1,893,360. If we do that math, where's my trusty calculator here? 21 divided by 1,893,360 equals, oh my, e to the negative fifth. So that's your scientific notation there for 10 to the negative fifth, which means we're talking about this number, 0.00001, okay? And just to give you a percent, we convert that to a percent, we're talking about 0.001%, okay? Or 1 out of every tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s. Only 1 out of 100,000 people have this issue at all, okay? Or 0.001%. Of the population could have this reaction, and it's treatable instantly, okay, with EpiPens that they have on site just in case, okay? So that's what you can expect from the vaccine, and this is the worst case you can expect from the vaccine, and it's dealt with easily and effectively and safely. Okay, and like I said, 3 members of my family have had this done, the vaccine, and none of them have had an issue with anaphylaxis either, okay? Okay, so let's talk about this. Myths and facts about COVID-19, and I should update this to the COVID-19 vaccine, all right? You may have heard of some of these, you may not have, but these are being discussed by people, so let's discuss them ourselves, all right, and see if we can get to the facts. So again, from the CDC, Centers for Disease Control, myths about COVID-19 vaccinations. All right, so let's start with this. Can the COVID-19 vaccine make me sick with COVID-19? The answer, no. This is false. You will not get sick with COVID-19. The only thing being put into your body is the RNA. The only thing being made are the proteins, okay? There's no actual virus in you, okay? Just a little protein, a little piece of that virus, okay, that can't do anything, but just show for your immune system to respond to, okay? And you can read more of that here. After getting the COVID-19 vaccine, will I test positive for COVID-19 or a viral test? No. Okay, because they're not testing. They're testing for other things here, but they're not testing for the COVID-19 vaccine. It will not mess that process up. Okay? If you've already had COVID-19 and recovered, do you still need to get vaccinated? If you've had COVID-19 once, the data says yes, you should get the vaccine, even if you've had it before. And the reason is they're finding that just because you get the sickness once doesn't mean you can't get it again. Some of you may even know people who've gotten it twice. Okay, it's documented. It happens. All right, we'll talk about why it happens in a little bit. But for right now, understand that this virus, when it leaves your body, finally, right, your body's a little bit weakened, and you do have more of a improved immune response, but that passes quickly, quicker than it does in the vaccine in terms of immunity. So you're more likely to get it again if you've just been sick one time than you are if you get vaccinated. Okay, so the vaccines here will actually protect you longer than even just getting sick yourself. Okay, now, will a COVID-19 vaccination protect you from getting sick with COVID-19? Yes, that's the point. Okay, it's there to get you safe. Will COVID-19 vaccine alter my DNA? Again, this is the CDC. No. Okay, and if people are saying this, they're wrong, and you can see that. Okay, there's data to back it up, and as I've told you before, just basic science. The RNA vaccine that you got does not go into your DNA, does not go into your nucleus, It does not affect you that way at all. And then lastly, this one is more nefarious, and I've seen this all over the place now, and I just want to stress this. Again, another myth. If you want to know what's going on, speak to your doctor specifically. Okay, but looking up here, it says, is it safe for me to get a COVID-19 vaccine if I would like to have a baby one day? And the answer is yes. Some people are spreading it out there that this thing causes infertility. That is not true. Okay, it is safe to get this vaccine and still be able to have children. Okay, in fact, again, getting COVID-19 is going to be worse for your whole entire body, all right, for a longer period of time possibly, than anything that these spike proteins from the RNA can cause. Okay, that's not going to be an issue for anybody who gets this. Okay, and we do have data to back it up. Lots of people have been pregnant after they've taken the vaccine. Okay, so it does not affect your fertility. Let me see here. What do we have next? Okay, Boe Mr. Ellis. All right, you tell me all these things about vaccines. All right. But I can't get one to the summer. I'm a student. I'm not going to get one until the summer, all right? If not possibly even the fall, depending upon how quickly we can get these things produced. So how will I, a student, stay safe until then? Well, that's easy enough. This, all right? For those who remember, this is Dr. Redfield here from the former administration's CDC, and this is what he had to say before we even had the COVID-19 vaccines out for people to use. He said this: I 100% believe in the importance of vaccines and the importance of a COVID-19 vaccine, all right? It's the thing that will get Americans back to normal everyday life, okay? But, he added, the best defense we currently have against the virus are still mitigation efforts, like wearing masks, washing your hands, social distancing, and being careful about crowds, okay? In fact, he went so far as to say this mask is going to do better to protect you than probably most vaccines will, especially those in like the 70% effectiveness. Okay, the 90% effective ones we have, those are definitely going to be way better. But when we're talking about 70% effectiveness on some of these vaccines, these masks are going to be your best friend. In fact, over here, there are some scientists out there right now, some immunologists saying that if for just 4 weeks, everybody in the United States of America wore one of these. This is an N95 mask, okay? Or a KN95 mask, if I'm remembering right, the other type there. If you wore one of these, and everyone wore one for 4 weeks, okay, they're saying that we could get rid of this virus entirely, including, of course, social distancing, washing hands, but if everybody wore it, it would only take about 4 weeks, okay? That's how effective these masks are, and that's how ineffective this virus is at spreading. It has to be spread through these droplets, respiratory droplets. Okay, so this can make a huge difference. In fact, I'm hearing that some people want the administration to send masks out to every American and for them and their family. And if everybody had one and used them, again, it wouldn't take long to really knock this virus down. And I think that would be wonderful for everybody. But again, that's still just a hypothesis right now. But I think it's something that's promising. And again, we know this because like in the school, since everybody wears masks, there's very little transmission within the school. Masks work, okay? Hand sanitizing works. The procedure you guys are doing and following works. You got to keep doing it, all right? All right, so let's talk about this. Why are masks and vaccines so important? Okay, so whether you're just masking up to protect yourself or you're getting a vaccination to protect yourself, whatever you're choosing to do, why are they important? This is like the big point you have to get. This is why you have to do your part on some level, whether that's wearing masks and sanitizing or getting vaccinated. Here's why it's important. It's because of evolution, okay? This virus is evolving. It's changing. If I can, the more people who get it, the more it changes. Take a look at this over here. We talked about these. This is the COVID virus right here, the spike proteins, the proteins on the outside. Those are what are put into your body. Okay, the RNA produces these spike proteins, and that's what your immune system identifies. The problem is, the more people who get the coronavirus, the more these spike proteins change. It's called mutation, evolution. It's why we have to make new flu vaccines every year, because the flu virus comes back in different ways. The COVID virus is now mutating. We've got different types that we call variants in different places around the world. We'll talk about that in a second. Here, however, Dr. Sanjay Gupta here from CNN, I think, takes us through a rather well thought out and well presented video here on how these viruses change. So I wanted to share this with you here if it'll play for me. Let's take a look. Don't go to commercial. Don't go to commercial. You can do it.
Mutation is a word that conjures up all kinds of images. Radioactive waste, viruses, they're generally not pleasant. But the truth is, mutations aren't always dangerous. For viruses, they're actually pretty mundane usually. We have genetic material, DNA, in all of our cells. As cells multiply and DNA gets copied, mistakes get made. In fact, your DNA mutates all the time and you almost never notice. But sometimes those changes do matter. They can be good changes, linked, for example, to lower risk of diabetes, or they can be harmful, for example, the mutations that can cause cancer. Viruses mutate as well, especially those with genetic material made of RNA. RNA is one strand instead of two strands, and it mutates even more easily than DNA does. Usually these mutations are neutral or even harmful to the virus, possibly making it less lethal. But this also explains why there's a new flu vaccine every year. Flu viruses constantly change, and these changes can eventually make the virus unrecognizable to the immune system, meaning the antibodies we had from last year's flu shot no longer really protect us. The novel coronavirus has mutated in a way that affects its spike protein. That's a protein that allows it to enter human cells. And while this mutation may make it spread more easily from person to person, it doesn't seem to make people any sicker.
Okay, that was big, and I hope this pauses. Okay, good. Now here's what I want to say. As he mentioned, this virus is mutating. That's what viruses do. They mutate. They change the spike protein to enter your cells, okay? And sometimes the spike proteins are even more effective, okay? Or they mutate in ways where they produce more virus, and they spread farther in different ways. But the point is this, right now, if I can get this to pull up. The longer we take to do something about COVID, the more people who get it, the more people it incubates inside, the more people whose cells start producing, because that's what it does. The virus takes over your cells and makes them produce more virus. Your cells then become virus production machines, producing more virus that you spread to others. But the more producing and production you do, the more the virus mutates and changes. Mistakes get made in that creation process. Okay, so the longer we take to do something about COVID, and the more people get infected, all right, the harder it will be to get rid of. Okay, the vaccines will become less effective because the vaccines are targeted to a specific spike protein. If the variant or mutated version of the COVID vaccine, of the COVID virus, it has a different spike protein, the vaccine won't work. Plain and simple. All right. Sometimes secondary infection will become more likely because here's the deal: even if you have gotten one virus, right, and you get sick with one COVID virus, if another one comes around that's significantly different, then you can get infected again very quickly from a variant, from a different one that your body can no longer recognize. Okay, so secondary infection can become more likely. Okay, and here's the deal. This is going on right now. Infection rates, Brazil, the UK, and South Africa, each of them have their own unique variant that's spreading quicker. Okay, in other words, it's more infectious. Okay, it's not more deadly. There's no real change in mortality rate as of right now. But the more people who get sick, the more hospitals are filled up, the less the doctors can help people, the more people who will die. Okay, whether it's from car accidents or it's from COVID, if our hospitals are jam-packed full because there's a higher rate of infection, right, more people are going to die. That's what we experienced here over the Christmas break. More people getting sick, less people could be taken care of. So, if we're not wearing masks, if we're not doing the vaccine, if we're not taking care of these things, it will mutate, it will become more infectious, and we'll be able to, we'll have less ability to deal with it. Okay? Now, if I can, that's the major point here, is be careful of these variants, listen out for them. I may have another video later on when we get more information about them, but I just really wanted to stress this. I see kids right now in their classrooms, right? They're not washing their hands as much as they used to. They're exchanging things and items with each other without sanitizing their hands. These variants are out there. The ones from Brazil, South Africa, the UK, they're here in the US. In fact, we have our own US variants to this virus that are more infectious as well. These are issues that we are going to be dealing with over the next couple of weeks. And soon these variants that are more infectious will become the majority of COVID cases. So they're going to slowly take over. Just keep an eye on it. Please wash your hands, sanitize, wear your mask. If possible, when if your family or whatever is into it, get vaccinated will help, okay? All these things matter. okay? But just keep this in mind, doing nothing means it's just going to get worse. And that's what we don't want, okay? Otherwise, COVID will be a part of our experience for the foreseeable future, okay? And so thank you for that, and thank you for your time. One last thing I did need to say, though, is just this, okay? Speaking to our large majority population at the school, okay? We have a lot of students from minority groups, and I felt like I couldn't not say this. But let's look up here at this. Again, when we talk about the importance, whether it's mask wearing or vaccination or whatever you're choosing to do, okay, based off the information, just look at what the numbers tell us. These are from the CDC, okay? When we take a look at minority groups here, all right, compared to the majority, all right? Minority groups such as, you can see American Indians, all right, Black, Asian, Hispanic. If you look at these numbers, cases more likely to be infected in these particular minority groups. Hospitalizations, look at this, 4 times more likely in these minority groups. Death, look at this, almost 3 times more likely to experience death from, and I want to stress this, from COVID-19. Okay? So the virus itself is affecting minority groups significantly higher than those in the majority. And what I want to stress here is that there are things we can do. There are things you can do. Do the things that are going to help you and your family and stay safe. That's my recommendation, and that's the recommendation of the CDC. I shouldn't say my recommendation because what I think, I guess, doesn't matter. What they think definitely does. Okay? So do those things right and be safe. That was a lot, but love you guys. Hope all is well. And if you have any questions, just feel free to email me. You can come talk to me or whatever, and I'd be glad to answer any questions you have or concerns. That goes for teachers who are listening too. Okay? Have a good day.